Okay, we've got Robert back down here in Colorado. He's going to be going to court Monday for his son. I don't have room here in this little living room to do a full-blown interview, so I'm just going to set him down, let him tell his story.
My name is Robert Bristow, and I've just come in from Oregon. A year ago, I brought my son back here for some mental health help. And the people that had signed on to provide the mental health help for him had changed their minds and were coming up with excuses about why they couldn't do it or why they would not. They even went so far as to accuse him of abusing his wife because she was so thin and frail. They took her away from him and put her in a home, but they wouldn't do anything for my son. So then this same organization and others began filing charges against my son, trying to make him a sexual offender. Well, he's been sitting in the Arapahoe County jail for about 8 months now. And he's charged with sexual offense, strong arm on a minor. And so I've come in now to try to defend him. We've had an evaluation for mental competency underway for the past month. And I don't see how he can be competent to stand trial because he's 33 years old, but he has a mental age of 12 to 14. The prosecutor, the DA, is telling him, well, it doesn't matter to me. We make our own laws here in Colorado, and so it doesn't matter what anybody says. We do what we want to do. And the only way you're going to get out of this is in a body bag. And he says, you're going away for life, however long or short that may be. Well, we do have a public defender for an attorney, and he's saying the same thing. In other words, there's a conspiracy between the attorney and the prosecutor. And another attorney is the one that actually got the evaluation for mental competency going. And Monday we go to court. Monday at 1:30 p.m. in the room 302 at the Centennial Arapahoe County Courthouse. And they're going to be presenting this evaluation for mental competency. It could be interesting to see what the prosecutor has to say and the attorneys. A couple of days ago, the prosecutor received the evaluation, and he put the word out to my son that it came back showing him to be competent. Well, then yesterday I got word that it might not be that easy, that there's more word coming in. And so we really won't know until Monday whether they've found him incompetent to stand trial or whether they're going to make him competent. But it appears that the prosecutor has been trying to manipulate the Rocky Mountain Mental Health Hospital people to say that he's competent. So I don't know how far this is going to go. This may be a drawn-out process, but I have a feeling that that he's going to end up in a mental health facility of some sort. It may be just a home that takes care of the mentally ill and provides counseling or whatever a person needs, or he might be in the Rocky Mountain Mental Health Hospital in itself for inpatient care. If he comes back that he is competent to stand trial, then I'm quite sure that the prosecutor is going to try to get a life sentence for him. Now, I know my son, and I know that he's not guilty, and yes, most parents will say that, but I know the difference. It will, if they find him competent to stand trial and it goes to court, then it leaves me no choice but I have a list of different options that I might have, and one of them that comes to mind is if they go about looking like they're going to find him guilty, then I can file a federal lawsuit against the judge, the prosecutor, for undue, lack of due process, I should say. And then I can include his public defender attorney along with him in a conspiracy to commit harm to a mentally ill person. And that should draw things out a little while, give me more chance to come up with more proof or more. And I believe that this other attorney that got the evaluation going will help me battle them. She is convinced that my son is not competent to stand trial. And I believe she's the one that's battling the prosecutor right now on manipulating the evaluation. But it could be a situation that draws out for years. My aim is to work out a resolution at least to where I can remove him from Colorado, take him back to Oregon or Washington, and have him placed in a mental health facility where he will be safe and receive the treatment that he needs. Now, I don't have anything worked out yet with anyone, but I will be talking about it with everyone. Probably Monday will be my first opportunity to speak to most that I need to speak with. I plan to be speaking to a lady tomorrow about providing a home for him to where he can receive the help he needs. At least long enough for me to get him out of the jail, get the process started, and work out the arrangements to take him back to Oregon for the help he needs so that I don't have to be running back and forth. That's just some of my thinking. It's some of the thoughts that I think has to happen. I'm very concerned about the prosecutor, the judge, and the defense attorneys all tell them the same thing, that in Colorado they make their own rules, and if they want to put somebody down, they're going down. If they don't, they don't. But they can do whatever they want, they say. Now, constitutionally, no, they can't. But they're claiming that they don't care about it, that they'll... Yeah, one of the things that's brought this all about, to where the DA, prosecutor, is trying to push my son for lifetime sentences, the fact that for many years I've worked search and rescue for missing people, and then got more into search and rescue of abducted children. And while my son was in Oregon with me, he wanted to help, so he is very strong with electronics, and he got on the computer and went into the dark web, and he found a room full of children that were listed as missing. But amongst them was this adult male, naked. In other words, pedophile, sitting amongst the children. And when my son came back to Colorado, well, his sister-in-law initiated trying to get him arrested because she didn't like the fact that her little sister had married him. And so she was paying people to, unless, right now that's my opinion, I can't prove it, but I do believe she paid people in Oregon, she paid people here. False charges against my son. And when my son walked into the court for arraignment after being arrested, and the prosecutor walked in, my son recognized him as being the man on the dark web. And of course, when he was arrested, his phone was confiscated, and on his phone was a picture of this pedophile. And so the police had the phone. I'm quite sure they passed it on to the prosecutor when they realized the picture that was on there. And so the prosecutor is now trying to cover up his crime, and he has to get my son out of the picture one way or the other. And if he can put him in prison, sully his reputation, and maybe get him killed by other inmates, then he only has me to worry about. I'm quite sure that he realizes that information my son had, I also have. And so it could get very interesting to see how he comes after me. I think he's already come after me, but he's failed so far. And I'm here. I'm waiting for him to make a mistake. I hope I catch that mistake before it's too late for me. But, a person has to do what they have to do for their children. And I'm willing to do that. And who knows? Might be a happy ending to this. Might be a sad ending, but we'll know soon enough. But anyway, Monday starts the process, really getting down to the brass tacks. Court in the Arapahoe County Courthouse in Centennial at 1:30 p.m. 302 is the room number. I would hope that anybody that would like to come and check it out, bring a tablet, a pen. Pay close attention to what is being said. Make notes. I'm sure that I could use those notes to follow up, with some actions, legal actions, if they're what I think they might be. Court observer can make all the difference in the world. I've been a court observer for other people, and I've had cases thrown out simply because I was there taking notes. Maybe you can do that for me. They know that they're in the wrong. There are no honest courts in this country right at the moment. They all have a lack of due process. Write it down. If you know the Constitution, you'll recognize what is said is either unconstitutional or constitutional. Write it down. But you can make a difference. You can be a big help. I'll even give you my phone number. You can call me at 971-225-2018. If you've got information, ideas, thoughts, be glad to talk.